Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here on a big Wednesday, a hump day here on Orange Bloods Live. So pumped to be here with you. And we have a bunch to get to today, man. It looks like Johnny Nanson's dipping his toes back in his old waters there at Arizona, going after some transfer portal guys. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Sidier Mitchell getting himself in the portal today and just what exactly is going on with the Texas Longhorns as far as the future at the interior defensive line. Anthony Hill finally makes a first-team All-American team, and I think it's probably a more I don't know, man. I think that the Athletic probably put a little bit more thought into it than the cockamamie journos that did the All-SEC team.
So I will say that the All-SEC thing that came out was we never got to vote on that. And according to the voting, it was 13 appointed staff members, one from each of 13 universities that voted on the All-SEC team, which doesn't make any sense.
The journos wouldn't have done any better. Maybe they would. Maybe they would. I mean, it's like
part of me thinks that Ant Hill would not have gotten screwed. I mean,
are you not allowed to vote for your own team?
I don't know.
That should be the rule. The rule should be it's like, hey, vote for who you vote for the all SEC, but you can't vote for any of your own dudes. You know, that would be the fairest way to do it. Otherwise, you're just gonna get everybody voting for themselves. I think we're gonna talk about your quarterback confidence draft tomorrow because we just have so much to get to today. Oh, but dude, Oscar Elizondo is going to have to bend the knee. It looks like about Bill Belichick.
Oscar.
So we'll talk about that, and also I'm going to talk about what happened with the run game versus Georgia because I finished with the offensive breakdown. The deep dig is written. It's up over at Orange Bloods. I think it's pretty clear what happened. I think it's pretty clear what to do about this moving forward. I'm not sure how much can be done as far as versus Georgia. Or this iteration of Georgia. So with that being said, Cody, let's talk about the buzz we're hearing about cornerback Tacario Davis enter the transfer portal, I believe earlier today, and we immediately started getting buzz from people around the program that Texas is looking to be in on him. If you'll remember last year. It was, Tacario Davis got in the portal. He wanted to wait and see what was going to happen after, what's his name?
Jed Fish.
After Jed Fish leaves, and of course, Nansen left and everything. Got in the portal, wanted to see about the new staff. Got in the portal. Arizona does what Arizona does this year. Now they have a bunch of portal guys, and apparently, Cody. Now, Texas is apparently both in on not only him, but I forgot what's the name of the safety.
The safety's Dalton Johnson, 5'11", 202, number 43.
Who I have not watched,
nor have I.
But so I'm like, we're not going to come on here and talk about guys that we haven't watched or don't know much about. But just know it looks like they're after the corner and the corner and the safety, which brings up just a kind of interesting discussion. It's like, okay, I can understand. For one, let's just talk about Davis. So whenever he got in the portal last year and decided to come back, he was a target of interest for Texas at that point. And this isn't one of these situations like it is with, say, a Micah Hudson or one of these other guys, as Anwar's reported, that Texas says, dude, if we go hard on you at one point and you decide not to go with us, we're not going to come back and save you if you go somewhere else and flame out. It's kind of like, Pete, it's like you didn't want us then, it's like peace out now, right?
Yeah.
It's not that kind of situation because that recruitment never really got any kind of hot and heavy. It was just kind of there was interest there. There was the familiarity with Nansen, all the rest of it. But I think that this is like if eventually you're going to go after corner, I think it's fine. I wouldn't want people to think that this is happening right off the bat like this. And this is the first one that we're hearing is kind of, looking like there could be some momentum there. on as far as coming into Texas on that side. Um, because like corner is the number one need in the transfer portal. This is something where it's just like, man, Nansen knows him. He's a good player. Cody, you sent me the scholarship board that you've been updating, and as I look at it here, I mean they're gonna have guys coming back, right? Next year it looks. I mean, I'm guessing the starters next year are going to be Manny Muhammad and Kobe Black, right? But with um, the fact that look at that. Okay. Um, that's interesting. Um, with the fact that Wardell Mack, Warren Roberson, those guys have played a little bit. They've both played outside corner this year. We have not seen Santana Wilson play a snap this season. So if they've generally outside of this last game, they've generally kind of rotated guys in, and Gavin Holmes still rotates in now when they go to the dime package. I just wonder if looking at Takario Davis, there's a couple of different things. One, Manny Muhammad always played the boundary corner last year, right?
Yep.
This year, as things went through the course of the season, they just started just keeping them on their own sides, or sometimes they would like matchups with certain guys, and they know a certain guy would be on one side, and they would just keep Manny on that side or Jade on that side, right? It began to not matter as much. Manny, throughout the course of the year, began to be able to play field corner as well. Kobe Black, though, this year has only really played boundary. And I think next year it could be a year where he starts to maybe have that Manny Muhammad like transition to where he might be able to play on both sides. But I think Santana Wilson's kind of like a field corner. And you just wonder, okay, well, is Cade Phillips maybe going to be a guy that can play in the Gavin Holmes role in the dime? Because I would imagine what's going to happen in the dime package is they're going to put Manny Muhammad. Are they going to have Manny Muhammad as the dime?
Well,
maybe that'd be a good place to play Cade Phillips.
Well, I was going to ask, what about the star? What about? Well, I mean, actually, never mind. Sorry, Gilbo's going to be there. I was thinking,
yeah,
Gilbo was the same age as Barron. Sorry. So I mean, Gilbo's going to stay there.
So if Gilbo stays, the point is there's going to be some times where you need six DBs, and three of them are kind of corner-ish. Like four of them are kind of corner-ish, right? Two of them are going to need to be outside corners. One in dime is going to need to be a total field corner type, and then two are nickel cornery. And Jade Barron plays the dime, which is kind of like a hybrid linebacker almost kind of thing whenever they go to dime. And then like he's oftentimes lined up offset to Anthony Hill, right? And then you have Gilbo just playing the nickel, and then you bring Gavin Holmes. He only plays on the field side, so on the wide side of the field. And you have Manny at the boundary, and then you have your safeties. Okay, I think next year, I just wonder who's going to be the Gavin Holmes type, because Takario Davis isn't. He's tall.
Mm-hmm.
He's one, and I'm not sure how fast he is. Do you think he's really fast?
I don't think he's that fast.
Well, if you had to guess his 40 time at the combine next year, what do you think? Because he's going after next year.
I mean, he's a tall, lanky guy, so I'd say at least 4'5", 4'5'2", somewhere in that area. Maybe a little. Maybe
it's exactly right. I think that's exactly right.
It depends on his, those stride guys. Like if they got long strides and stuff like that, an open field could potentially run faster than that. But I think that's fair ballpark, which is not fast for a DB.
Right, but that's the thing is, he doesn't. I think on the boundary, it's fine. Like he doesn't. If you watch his tape, he doesn't get. Do you have his PFF pulled up? Because I don't think he gets burned very much, and it's because we always talk about these guys that are long. They're long levered. They're high cuts. They're high cut. They have high butts. It means that their back pedals, like the length of their back pedal is longer. Right? They can backpedal with these guys. They can turn and run with them. And by the time, you get to 3 Mississippi, you're not going to be too far past this guy. So, I don't think he's going to play field corner at all. And so I think he's a really talented player. what do you have his PFF pulled up? Does it have, like, because I know his 2023 stuff. I know he had like 15 pass breakups in 2023. I'm trying to think back of, it was, I think he had one pick, 15 pass breakups,
12 PBUs, 1 pick, and he allowed 4 touchdowns. This year, he only had 3 PBUs, no touchdowns allowed. You might perceive that as, well, he was probably targeted less. He wasn't. He was targeted 54 times last year, 50 times this year. Gave up 27 receptions this year versus 23 last year. I think this is one area that they did go after him, was his deep downfield. So he gave up a 59, a 57, a 37, a 40, and a 36. So 5 plays of 30 yards or more, which, when you look at the statistically, when you look at his yards given up, yards per reception given up, those 5 plays can be outliers, but it was 5 and not 2. And can be reason for his 290 to 464 difference season over season. So his coverage grade on PFF has dropped 20 points year over year, but his tackling grades went up, his pass rush grades went up, his total defensive grades went down. But I don't think his play has dropped off that much, but he has gotten beat downfield. So his NFL passer rating allowed, it went from 76 to 85, which is still not great. I think Jahdae Barron is one of the best in college football. NFL passer rating allowed, 28.0 passer rating allowed.
Let me get this show retweeted as we're creeping up towards 600 people here between X and YouTube. So thanks everybody for being here. Cody, I forgot something, dude. Hey, play the Portal Combat sounder and let me go grab this thing.
We do not own the rights to that video, but we do own the rights to the show. Maybe not.
And the rights to the beef jerky.
Hey,
guess what's back? Guess what's back?
Can I tell you something, Alex? I know we're talking beef jerky right now, but I didn't realize I had this in my box when I came home from Austin this last time.
Yep.
And I've talked about the Wagyu beef bacon, which I made like 2 weekends ago with eggs. I made these amazing burritos. I thought I had another package of the Wagyu beef bacon in the bottom of my freezer. Turns out it was already cooked brisket, freeze packed, freeze sealed. I took it out tonight. I thawed it out in about, I don't know what it was, maybe half an hour, an hour. I had brisket. I already had dinner. I had brisket. I warmed it up. I put it in the air fryer. So it was crispy brisket. It was perfect from Texas Beef Traders. Totally forgot that was in the bottom of my freezer this last time I came home. Everything over at Texas Beef Traders, including the Football with Friends beef jerky, jalapeno. The other one's Cowboy Blend. I got some Cowboy Blend out in the kitchen. Alex,
you can tell it's like these are like little pieces of sirloin, dude. It's the best beef jerky you've ever had. This is our beef jerky, man. You can support us by buying it. I put a link in the chat. Gosh, it's so good, dude.
Did you put the link in the chat already?
Yeah, I put the link in the chat. Okay. Man, I need to get a better link because it goes like East Austin Wine Company. It's just an old link for one of their old wines, but so they didn't have to build anything. We should make a custom link. But the jalapeno garlic is so good. And it's really not that spicy. Tasty as hell. Texas Beef Traders. Alex and Cody's signature blend. Jalapeno garlic and cowboy blend.
Hey, do you know what's in your box offhand? If people go into the shop, they can get the Alex box. Do you know what's in your box? Because I just sent you over mine last night to send to Darren.
Yeah. I think my box is $135 to buy. You get 10% off of that. I think it's like 2 of the Dunlap steaks, which are Delmonico's. 1 picanha. I think it's got some sausage in there. It's got some tenderloin chips in there. And it's got, I think, 2 things of ground beef and 2 things of Piedmontese ground beef. Check out Texas Beef Traders, TexasBeefTraders.com, and buy some beef jerky. They got it back in stock, so you don't have to wait again. You guys sold this out last time, but they got a bunch of new stuff. So we finally got it back. I was happy to get it back because I've been angry that I haven't had it to snack on. All right, so Tagario Davis, just corner and safety. What about safety?
So at safety, I guess I inherently just didn't assume that they would go after a safety, but I think once the name Dalton Johnson came up, Arizona, I was like, okay, well, first off, it makes sense. The Nansen connection, it would make sense that they would potentially go after another DB because, again, we're assuming Taft could come back for one more year, but Makuba and Taft are gone, leaves you with Jelani and Derek Williams. And we talked about the strength of the safety position this year being that there's 4 dudes in that room: Derek Williams, Michael Taft, Jelani McDonald, Andrew Makuba. And now there's going to be back to 2. Plus, you'll have Jordan Johnson-Rebel, who's played sparingly, Xavier Filsaime, who got working early this year. And then you have the 2 freshmen coming in, who Jonah Williams, of course, is all-world talent. Kind of a tweener, I guess you'd say, for linebacker / safety, but expected to play safety. And then Zealous Hicks, who supposed to be a senior in high school next year, going to be a freshman at Texas. So I don't know what your expectation is on day one. Super talents on the back end, but it would make sense losing Makuba and Taft that you could potentially go out and at least add one guy in the portal when I lay that all out to you. That makes sense?
No, I mean it makes sense, but I think Derek Williams brings back a ton of experience.
Correct, but I mean also Derek Williams got hurt this year, so it's like you don't even inherently the last month people have probably like not forgotten that he's on the roster, but like forgotten that Derek Williams, forgotten about him for.
He's really good.
No, I get that 100%. I get that, but I'm saying like they've forgotten about him because of how well Taft and Makuba have played. That it's like, oh yeah, we're fine. We got Makuba and Taft. It's like, yeah, but you lost a safety. He got hurt this year. Like he got hurt, and so if you go into next year and you're like, well, we're gonna go next year with Jelani and Derek Williams, and it's like, okay, so what if when injury happens again? And it's like, then what? Then who's the next guy? And that's where like the Makuba thing. Like if you didn't go out and get Makuba this last year, you'd be kind of tight right now. It'd be like, okay, we got Jelani and Taft, and that's it. And then like, not like that's it, but like your confidence wouldn't be up to here with Jordan Johnson-Rebel and Xavier Filsaime as freshmen, right? Like you have veteran depth that you can rotate, which they do. And I think that adding a guy like this Dalton Johnson kid, which I've never watched, but he'll be entering his 4th season, solid grades.
Do you have the Arizona PFF pulled up? Can you just see what it says about him?
I got this kid's pulled up. This kid has, all right, so over the last 2 years combined, he's played about 1,493 snaps total. His run defense grade was 77 last year, 70 this year. His tackling grade, 80 last year, 70 this year. His coverage grades, 57 and 55. Overall defensive grade, 66 and 64, so very much middle of the line, a little touch above average. Targeted 70 times over the last 2 years, give up 53 receptions for 680 yards.
Targeted how many gave up 53?
Say that again.
Targeted how many and you gave up 53?
Targeted 70 times, gave up 53. So 75% completion percentage allowed. 680 yards allowed. 6 touchdowns allowed. NFL passer rating of 148 this year, 109 last year. Again, he's got 142 tackles according to PFF. 64 run stops, 1 pick, 2 PBUs. He's lined up in the box 1,081 times, free safety just over 100 times, in the slot 157 times last year, 63 this year. At corner 18 total times, on the defensive line 60 times. So
did he have any sacks or anything? Did he do any of that stuff? Does it say if
he had 1 sack. He had 1 sack last year. He's had 7 pressures over the last 2 years.
I mean, it's not bad. We just need to watch him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have forced fumbles, though. I think he's got, where's the, I hate how they have this thing built up.
Slick Vic, yes, he is.
Forced fumbles, he had, God dang, 8 forced fumbles in the last 2 years.
8?
Yeah.
So, dude, that's a Nansen, dude. I mean, that's a. You see how much he teaches knocking that ball out. Like with that sword they put the fumbles and stuff on, like that was his Arizona defense, and what it was the turnover sword and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, if he's got that kind of mentality on the back end, you like it. 75% completion percentage sure doesn't sound that.
Yeah. So
Um,
maybe he's a a situational guy. Maybe he's not going to come in and start over the two guys, over Derek Williams and Jelani. But
well, that's not going to be the pitch.
yeah, no, what the pitch? The pitch is definitely not, hey, you're going to come in and start. The pitch is you're going to come in, you're going to be a part of the number one defense in the country. You're going to play with Nansen, where your
We
grades.
do a lot of exotic stuff where we use a lot of DBs, a lot of dime packages. We're going to find a way to work
This kid was
like
a
that's
better
what
tackler and a better overall defender with Nansen 2 years ago than he was this year. So that's
yeah.
the pitch. The pitch is, hey, come here, get in this, sick back end, get drafted next year.
And if this does happen, do you know what I just thought about as we're talking about this, Cody? Like it's been kind of something where I just haven't really wanted to say it or talk about or even kind of put it out there. But I've had a sneaking worry, and I still don't think that uh, I I don't think that I don't think that we're out of the woods just yet with Nansen getting poached out of here. You
I
know,
think him recruiting these two guys, if they get these two guys in the next week, I think we'll be just fine.
well, that was what I was that's what I was going to say. It's like if he's pitching them, hey man, come here, like I'm going to be here. I don't think that you would say that to a couple of kids that you have relationships with, and then maybe you would. I mean, he's a grown man. He's got a family. He has aspirations to be a head coach. Nansen's been such a great addition. He's not going to be here forever. He's an assistant defensive coordinator for one of the best defenses in the nation. And whether the narrative in your mind is that he didn't have as much to do with it as you would think he wanted to. Certainly the narrative in his agent's mind that he's putting out to people, he's like, well, dude, look at the Texas defense last year and look at it this year after Nansen got there. I mean, and whether or not that's totally true. I mean, it's like everything that like there's, you could find a little bit of, do you know what I mean? It's like the truth's always kind of somewhere in the middle. It's not all Nansen's doing, but I do think that Nansen, with the way that he just beats it into their heads about the communication between the linebackers and the secondary, the things that killed Texas in some of the games, like Oklahoma, right? The thing that almost lost the Houston game, like he's really helped a whole lot with that. The NASCAR package, that's a Nansen thing, right? So those have been very important, impactful parts of the defense, and so I think that he has a good pitch to go on to be like he can go on to be a head coach, not at any big school, not at some place like North Carolina, bend the knee, Oscar Elizondo. But I do I do think that it's a good sign that we're going to get to keep that guy around for at least one more year. The question about this is, are the SEC schedules starting to come out, Cody?
Yes, sir. Slowly, but they're coming out.
Okay, so we have October 6th is October 4th, Texas at Florida. October 11th, Texas versus Oklahoma. Texas at Kentucky is Are you putting all these in, or is that some kind of ghost in the machine, or the chat?
That's me. That's me.
Okay. So then they'll get Texas at Kentucky. So they open up with Florida, Oklahoma next. So wait, didn't they this year? Did they play their first SEC game and then have a bye before Oklahoma?
I don't know. It looks like 6, 7, 8. So Florida, Oklahoma, Kentucky, week 6, 7, 8. These are week after week after week. Gosh, October at Florida, Oklahoma, at Kentucky, at Mississippi State. So they're going to be on the road for a month.
So yeah, they played their first on September 28th last year, then got the bye. They got the bye right before. Hopefully, this doesn't mean that Texas is going to have a week 4 bye. Do you think that's what this is?
I think it might be.
I think it is. They're going to have their bye before they come into SEC play. And then Money B saying based on what's Georgia's still. So who's still on the board? Georgia's still on the board.
And which is gonna be the last one.
A&M will be at home. Georgia will be away. And then who else?
I'm kind of scroll down. My computer's
Vandy will be at home.
being awesome right now.
Vandy will be at home, and then Arkansas will be at home.
Yeah.
So at least it's a lot. I mean, three home games in November. I don't think that that's going to be hell.
Yeah, but I think it's the part of this which you just read, October. All right, so they've only released on. Yeah, they haven't released the whole thing here. God dang.
We basically know how it's going to go. I mean, it's just now it's just a matter of finding out how it runs out in November between
With
Arkansas, Vandy, Georgia, and because A&M's going last.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's saying Chad Gibson's saying Vandy, Arky, A&M, and you. Oh no, but that's not the order. Okay.
Yeah, he's just saying the teams.
Okay. Yeah.
The
So-
show, I think the show is just like doing week by week. The ESPN show right now is going like week by week.
Yeah. The Mike G saying you'll avoided South Carolina, Tennessee, and Bama. By the way, yeah. I mean, yeah, for the first 2 years, they won't in 2026. Yeah.
Listen to this report. Listen to this one. This is from. I don't know if this has got to be. I mean, this is Matt Hayes, USA Today Sports Network. Sources tell me UNC, North Carolina, will increase its NIL package for football from $4 million to $20 million in an effort to land Belichick. Guess who's back? Guess who's now in the big dog conversation?
Dude.
They hate him because they ain't him, brother. I'm telling you. Hating this Belichick situation is going to be it's going to be wrong.
It's going to be well. I mean, it's going to smash. I was texting with somebody today who's a parent of a high 5-star recruit, a guy that didn't end up coming to Texas, but a dude that I just met through the recruiting process, and he's at another school now. And I just said, dude, as a dad of a 5-star player, what do you think about the whole Belichick pitch at UNC? And he's like, what? Like he didn't even really know, And I was like, all right, well, here's the pitch. It's Bill Belichick, and he has a comp. It's like not even a college program. It's a comprehensive NFL developmental pipeline, and they're going to teach you about what you got to do in the NFL. With your money, like as far as the money, they're going to be paying the best players on the team the most money. They're going to have all this NIL stuff. They're going to have the NFL strength and conditioning. They're going to have the NFL, workouts and different pods for your practices. It's going to be run by Bill Belichick, who's the absolute GOAT, all this stuff. And, they're going to have one side that does all the evaluation and scouting. And then Bill is just going to, he's going to coach. He's going to be that kind of the figurehead as far as recruiting. And it's just going to be designed to get players who are good enough to play in the NFL, ready to play in the NFL, and just totally maximize their potential. And I said, would you listen to that? And he's like, of course I'd listen. He said, but I wouldn't have sent so-and-so to North Carolina though. But he said, of course I'd listen. He's like, that sounds very good. So I don't think that, this is a guy that, Texas guy, so probably wanted his kid to go somewhere in the SEC or, Big 12 at the time. But I think players and parents are gonna listen.
I think it's
people in the chat are acting like this is just going to be a disaster. I just don't get it, dude. They're all going to have to bend the knee. This is going to work.
Oscar's going to have to bend the biggest knee of all time. 80% of college players don't want that. I tell you what, Oscar, it seems to me like Notre Dame's doing pretty good right now. I think they're in the playoff. Penn State, they're doing pretty good right now. They're in the playoff. These teams that are built around just having big ogres on the offense and defensive line, owning the line of scrimmage, running the football, and having competent, balanced play around the entire team, it seems to work. And I guarantee you that's exactly what he's going to build in North Carolina. And they just happen to be kind of in a great spot for recruiting. I'm not saying he's not going to have to recruit like Deion. Deion can just say, yo, like he's Deion, so he just recruits. the way that this thing's going to roll out, we talked about it yesterday. He's going to have a coaching staff and a general managing staff that goes after players and stuff. He's not going to be the overarching general manager like he was in New England as well as coaching. They're not going to have a problem. There's millions of kids. When this guy is going through the draft to get guys to come play for the Patriots, there's a couple thousand per year. There's millions of kids that they're going to have a massive staff. They're going to be able to go out and find kids that they want. Players,
but they're only going to take the best
molds. Think about the molds. When you think about the Patriots, what are some of the molds you think of? The slot wide receiver.
The guys that are awesome on special teams. He's gonna have the best special teams unit in all of college football, and he's gonna be guys ready to
The left-footed punter. You're thinking about long rangey cornerbacks. All these the Kyle Van Noy linebacker. All these different things of when you think of a Belichick team, he's gonna have the whole country to go find these dudes
to go find slow middle linebackers.
You don't care about your 5 stars and your 4 stars because you know what comes with that? Most times a little bit of drama. And Belichick
he's gonna need to get 5 stars though, man. I'll bet you he does get 5 stars.
He might.
I'll bet you he does.
But I'm not gonna go
excellent pitch, and he's gonna have all the money in the world to throw at him.
It's gonna be
an excellent pitch.
I think he might get a 5-star or 2, but I don't think that's where he's going to build this thing. He may land one big fish, but I think he understands the importance of finding dudes to fit roles. And if the staff
a kicker that makes everything wants,
the staff is like going to be the whole thing. If he can put together a staff that's going to go out and grind and find dudes, in urban Kansas that can play the position he wants them to play, there's going to be no problem in North Carolina. And I tell you what, it's kind of exciting being in South Carolina right now. It's like you look at South Carolina, they got Beamer. Obviously, Clemson has Dabo. North Carolina has Belichick. West Virginia just got Rich Rod an hour ago. Right? Like all this, Kirby's right there. All these, Billy Napier's right. All the schools in the Southeast. Now, they're not all in the Southeast Conference, but all the schools in the Southeast have coaches now. Like good coaches, and this is a pretty good place to recruit. So it'll be interesting to see. It's interesting because I think about this. If South Carolina can grab one guy from Georgia, North Carolina can grab one guy from Georgia, Texas can pull out a Justice Terry from Georgia. Maybe we can get some more parity out of here and get this Georgia thing out of here.
Speaking of Justice Terry, man, is he just gonna have to start?
He might.
I mean, he's just going to have to start. I think that Justice Terry walks in the door, and as much as I hate to, because Sadir Mitchell goes in the portal today, kind of unexpected to me, especially given the lip service that Sark had been giving him recently, saying, "Oh, this has been the best couple weeks of practice that we've seen from Sadir." Right? This has been the well, that's somebody says that they misreported that, but Anwar earlier today confirmed it on Orange Bloods. Sadir Mitchell will enter the transfer portal. This is from Anwar Richardson. He said he can confirm the reports. The defensive lineman Sadir Mitchell will enter the transfer portal. He becomes the 4th defensive lineman to enter the portal this week. So I'm not sure if they're talking about that or something else. But if Anwar reports it, I'm believing it. I'm good with it. Oscar Elizondo, $9.99. Belichick is nothing without Brady. He's proven he doesn't understand offense until he has Josh McDaniels. If he goes 8-4 like Mac did, it's a failure. Won't miss much without elite talent. This is
Oscar, I love you, man, but you gotta.
It's just what about just so? What did he win? 6 Lombardi. He hoisted 6 Lombardi trophies.
He's got 8. He's got 8 of them.
I mean, are you okay? I've been underselling him then.
He is head coach for 6, but he's got 8.
Okay. He Do you understand how many other? I mean, do you understand how many other NFL head coaches have had great quarterbacks? I mean, just if it just you looked at. I mean, how many Super Bowls did like Joe Montana?
4?
What? No, Bill Walsh.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Bill Walsh has 3 with the 49ers. I mean, and then how many did guys like I mean, who like who was like Peyton Manning's main coach? I've forgotten by now. I remember what Tom Brennan or whatever, who was the quarterback's coach.
Dungy?
Was it Dungy? How many did he win with Peyton Manning?
1.
It's just like we're talking. Andy Reid, maybe, I guess. Well, I mean, he's won. What's he won?
3?
2 with Mahomes or 3?
I think he's got 3.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you guys are crazy. It's like Bella. It's not just Brady. It's wild. So anyway, and if Peyton Manning went one with 2 different coaches, then that makes it even like that. That's he. Okay, yeah, because he was a great quarterback. Brady won with 2 different coaches too. Like this is not about Brady not being good. So
I think I don't want to get into it.
anyway, this isn't about dude. This is a conversation that they're going to be having in bars in Boston for the next 50 years. We don't need to be having it here.
All right, you want to hear the schedule? Here
Yeah.
it is, October 4th. So I think the bye is going to come before that. Again, we're only getting the SEC schedule today, so we have to infer the first 4, which is August 31st against Ohio State, or August 30th against Ohio State, September 6th against San Jose, September 13th against UTEP, and then I think there's one more on the 20th. So that means the 27th would be an off week. October 4th at Florida, October 11th, Texas, Oklahoma, October 18th, Texas at Kentucky, October 25th, Texas at Mississippi State. November 1st, Texas hosting Vandy. November 8th, bye. November 15th, Texas at Georgia.
Yeah, you get the bye before Georgia. That's good.
Bye going into Georgia. Then you have November 22nd, home against Arkansas. Finish the season out November 29th, home against Texas A&M. So October's a little bit of a thing here. All road games, right? But then November, you get the bye, you get Georgia, and then you're home and home, Arkansas, A&M. I think that's a pretty decent draw.
I think I think the schedule seems balanced and it seems good, and it seems like the part of the schedule where you're going to have to go spend a lot of time in away games. And okay, great. So you have to go to Florida, which is going to be that's going to be a tough entrance into the, you know what I mean? That's a tough entrance into conference play.
That's gonna be early. That's October 4th in the Swamp. DJ Lagway, Arch Manning.
Yeah, man. Gosh, that's what an awesome game.
I might drive down for that one.
That's a tough entry into it. But then you get hold on. And then so you got to go but then Oklahoma is also technically it's away. And then it's neutral site, but it's away.
Yep.
Kentucky is going to be away. And then I think that for Mississippi State, you got to travel to Davis Wade. Right? So, but that Kentucky and Mississippi State, those are easier teams to have to travel to. Whereas when you get to this November, it looks more like a slog. You at least get Vandy at home, you get Arkansas at home, you get Texas A&M at home. The big Goliath, you're going to have to, go shoot the arrow or go shoot the little pebble out of your slingshot with is going to be Georgia. And that's the way the Texas should think about Georgia until they actually beat them. Because Georgia, right? I mean, Texas has a run game kryptonite problem with Georgia that we can talk about here in a minute. But who knows? Who knows if they'll be the same next year? And who knows who the quarterback will be next year? I mean, is that little guy going to be their quarterback next year? That Makuba took his head off? Stockton, Gunnar Stockton?
Supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, man. It'll be interesting to see kind of what even all these teams are at that point. I mean, you know, what exactly is Oklahoma gonna be, right? We kind of know what Florida's gonna be. We have no idea what Kentucky's gonna be. We know that Mississippi State is, a lot of the guys that they're losing now. We talked yesterday is probably all addition by subtraction. That's not necessarily true. I think I saw that their best wide receivers going in. So we saw that Blake Shapen's coming back. Michael Van Buren is now transferring out
because they're gonna get Arnold, just like you called it.
Do you think that that's going to be true?
I mean, I assume so.
Would Shapen come back to back up Jackson Arnold, or I don't know. That's be an interesting thing. I think. Well, we don't know if they have any idea what Kentucky's going to do at quarterback. Do we really know what Oklahoma's going to do at quarterback?
I wouldn't. I mean, not today. I don't.
We don't know a thing about Vandy. Georgia's going to be relatively up in the air. Arkansas will have. They'll have Taylor Green back, right?
Taylor Green, yeah, because he transferred in.
I think he's got a year, doesn't he? Taylor Green, Arkansas, yeah. So he was a redshirt junior this year, so he'll be back. And then Texas A&M, I guess it's Marcel Reed. I don't think he's even that good. He might be better next year.
From UAB to come in and compete with him, remember?
Yeah. That old guy.
What the hell was his name from last night? I can't remember.
I forgot. It's whatever. But yeah. So I mean, obviously, we're gonna have a lot of time to talk about these games when we get to the doldrums. Thank goodness we have actual games on the docket for the college football playoff that Texas is going to be involved in here moving forward. But yeah, certainly interesting. That's the schedule. Can we please talk about the defensive line, Cody?
Let's do it.
Let me take this thing off the screen. Where is it?
I didn't realize it was still up. My bad. I went to a different screen.
Okay. It's killing me. I'm like, all right, can we talk about defensive line? You're like, let's do it. I like that. All right, that's interesting. Let's move on. All right, let's do it.
I got all these different screens up.
Yeah. Okay. So can you put up the scholarship board thing?
Yeah.
It's Melvin Hills and Alex January. I don't even know what Melvin Hills even looks like. You know what I mean? I don't. Never seen him at a practice. Never noticed him. He hadn't played a snap. It's like a Santana Wilson. I think I've at least seen Santana Wilson take some reps. I feel like Melvin Hills plays strong side defensive end, kind of.
I mean, it's Alex January. He's. I mean, obviously he's penciled in as a starter, but we heard positive things about him.
He can't be penciled in as a starter, man. Like
he has to be.
No, I think they're probably penciling in. I heard today from somebody in the know that Texas is taking 3 interior defensive linemen.
That's fine. That's fine. But
I think they're gonna have to start, and they're gonna have to be they're gonna have to be better than these last ones. Savea was bad.
Savea was Trill. But you more than likely, Alex, you're gonna
Savea is worse than Trill.
More than likely, you're gonna get exactly what you got this year. You're gonna get a guy like Bill. You're going to get a guy like Lola, and you're going to get a guy like Savea. The guy like Savea is probably going to come in. He's going to be, basically nothing. You're going to have a guy like Lola. It's going to come in, and there's going to be expectation. He's probably going to be a little banged up before he came in, transferred a couple times, etc. Lola grew into a solid role. A guy like Bill. Bill's not going to be able to play every down. Bill's going to be a rotational guy. Unless there is an alpha dog. But right now, there's not an alpha dog out there. Now, can they poach an alpha dog? Sure, maybe. But I think Kenneth Grant's obviously going to be out the window. Maybe it was, if we can go back a year, hypothetically, you probably would try to poach Kenneth Grant. But They're gonna have to poach somebody. It's just gonna be the. I mean, otherwise you have to full blown expect what you got this year, which is, and then, pretty solid. Pretty solid. The January's gonna have a roll.
My new Poncho Outdoors hoodie is made out of it's made out of recycled plastic bottles. How can these things be so buttery soft when they're made out of recycled plastic bottles? Man, that's the thing about Poncho Outdoors. They give back to conservation. They give back to conservation, stuff. They take plastic bottles from out of the ocean and they turn them into these awesome hoodies that feel like the softest, most addicting hoodies you've ever had. I'm so tilted because the only one they have left in stock is it's kind of a yellow. They could call warm sand because the blue one's all gone, the green one's all gone, the camo one's all gone, the light blue one's all gone, and the gray one is all gone. This is the only one that they have left. And I said I got to buy it anyway because I need more of these. I can't just keep wearing the same hoodie around every day. And like it's just like the poncho shirts. Now that I've worn them, I don't want to wear anything else. So it's like when we talk about the football with friends beef jerky, which is tasty as hell, right? Whenever things sell out, it's because they're good, right? Poncho is good. So make sure and go give our friends Poncho Outdoors a look. You can't get a hoodie right now, but you can get all kinds of shit. Well, you can get this hoodie. It's not quite as cool as the others, but it's just as comfortable. Poncho Outdoors, man. Thanks so much to those guys for being great sponsors. Is there a single? Is the Alabama defensive tackle that's in there any good, Cody? Jaheim Otis or whatever? Has there been any of these, or do you think that Sark and them at least since I was told with good authority there are 3 of them that they want? Do you think that there's maybe guys out there that that they know are going to come in that we just don't know yet?
I think you just phrased it one way. You just said I think there's 3 guys that they want. I don't think there's 3 guys in there that they want.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that
they want 3.
The text said it's 3 they want. So yeah, the ones that say there's 3 they want. It's 3 they want. So they want 3 in the portal. This was post learning about Sadir because it's not just Sadir, it's also Bledsoe and it's Savea and it is Aaron Bryant. None of them big losses, mind you. So if it's just the problem is now, can we take ourselves back to what we thought about Vernon Broughton and Alfred Collins coming into this season, though?
Hey, Alfred found it. We were
extremely worried.
Alfred found it. Vernon, I mean,
kind of found it.
I don't want to say Vernon bridged the gap till Alfred found it, but I think they worked very well together this year. Very much better than I expected.
Yeah, I got it, Cody. For some reason, I have a feeling that there's going to be some dude, at least one, that's going to be like the bell cow transfer portal guy that they're going to pay a bunch of money to that we don't know that's really on the radar yet. And then probably 2 filler guys. And I think Justice Terry is going to come in and play.
We got to find him.
Because here's the thing about what the staff had said. Like the staff had said that, not to publicly, but they had said with their initial sort of foray into the Michael Fasusi sweepstakes where they didn't kind of go hot and heavy and super big or whatever. And was that a mistake? I don't know. Maybe. They made a great final push and made it real close. And I think that's probably what would have happened back then. And then all it would have taken was a bunch of what my dad used to call deal tending, the thing that he hated to do the most, which was after he got his deals done. He was a recruiter, right? And so after he got his deals done, he'd match up a recruit with a hospital to go be their CEO. Like, he would then have to do the stuff where he had to like hand pad and hold their hand. It was like 6 weeks during a transition, make sure nothing changed, make sure that all the contracts looked good. Nothing was going to scare this guy off or spook these guys off. And nothing came up in the background checks and like all this stuff like this, like deal tending, hand padding. So you would have had to do all the deal tending for the whole time anyway. Why not swoop in at the last minute? You built the relationship. So I think it's fine the way that they handled it. But the reason why they didn't go so hard at first is they said the thinking behind the scenes, from what I understand, was like, dude, we paid Brandon Baker like $800K or whatever to kind of be a backup. We can't do that again with an offensive lineman that's not going to come in ready to play.
Yeah.
That's a lesson that they learned. And so I just think with Justice Terry, they go way north of that, maybe even double that. They're like, if that's still their way of thinking, that means Justice is going to come in and play. Justice is a freak, dude. He's going to be, we all know he needs to put on more mass, but it's like, what are you going to do?
He's got 9 months.
You just let him. But here's I think he's freaky enough to where he's going to be good just coming in and playing as he puts on the mass, and he'll just get better as he puts on mass. Unless he's a total, he's not going to, this is not a player that's going to come in and just be dusted. It's like, it's a near impossibility.
I want to stay on this beat in that I still think that there's a chance Lance comes in and puts weight on. And Lance comes in ready to play football, and I don't think we ever see a day where he's like, "Oh, that's our edge rusher, that's our defensive end." No, it's like he comes in
and he's a little bit undersized. He's a little Aaron Donald-ish his first year.
Lance,
Grady Jarrett-ish, something like that, right?
Oh, he's like, bro, Lance Jackson is 6'7".
Oh, but I just mean from a weight perspective.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like 280. You know what I'm saying? 280.
You're talking about bona fide midgets out here. I'm like,
no. I'm just talking I'm just going from a pure weight perspective.
Okay,
he's not. Clearly, he doesn't look like one of these small bears, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, no. I just mean as far as like an amount of an actual amount of mass. Yeah. And I guess now that you're pointing it out, I really can't make the equivalency because of the way that the weight's distributed through their bodies. It is harder to move a shorter guy that has, with the BMI.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, we've seen these guys in college operated just that same weight. In the end, it's still the same amount of weight.
Yeah.
And who's to say he can't be 290 by the time the season starts?
Exactly. I would take a Lance Jackson at 290, a Justice Terry at 280. Like, again, those are hypothetical numbers, but if you put that number out there, these kids are 17 years old. They can put weight on, and they get into they enroll early. They enroll in the next couple of weeks. You literally have 8 months before fall camp.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
Yep. And they're going to get to come in, and they're going to get to, they're going to get to like run through practices and stuff. They're going to have to kind of stay out of the way and not get, because remember how this goes with the CFP is like, they're like,
I hope
get him involved in practice. And Sark's like, man, we can't be upsetting the apple cart now with practice. We're not going to be going in and introducing a bunch of new stuff to a bunch of new guys. But they're going to be out there getting to kind of be around it and maybe going through scout team stuff or whatever. And then they're going to get to go through all the winter, then all the spring. And then where you notice the real big jumps or the real big, in some cases like Cam Williams, the body transformations that are in the different direction where he actually had to lose weight. Right. You see that usually from spring to fall during the summer when they just sweat off and shed off a lot of that weight or, wherever, if you're not looking to go that way, it's like during the summer where you don't have school and you can just be in there with the nutritionist every day, just packing down the protein and going in the weight room and just like, that's your job.
Dude, I think those two dudes are going to be ones that on day one, they're like, the role is there. And those are two dudes I think are prepared. Obviously, we've heard Lance from Landon's perspective. Landon said he's going to have this kid ready. I mean, I imagine Lance going to be spending his summer training with Landon if he can as he gets ready for the NFL. But Justice Terry, obviously, that mindset already is come in and play on day one. Like, I'm not saying that they should put all the eggs in that basket, but
they need to do something.
It's almost like they're already on. I don't want to. How do I phrase this? I don't want to. Losing Aaron Bryant and Sadir Mitchell, I think you're in a better place with two freshmen coming in than having those two guys still on the roster.
I maybe think so too, especially when when one maybe like a Sharma can come in and just, even if you don't even need him to move around too much, he's just so big. Yeah. You put him in there, you use him like Norton as your second nose. And if he just has a little bit better work ethic and he comes in, he's not quite as homesick when he first gets here like Sadir was. And, it's like, gets the same coach the whole time. You know what I mean? Coach that actually recruited him. I think it'll be helpful. But as worried as I was last year about Alfred Call, I think Alex January is going to turn out to be fine. But he wasn't productive this year when he got to play at all. He just wasn't. Not even on a per snap basis. Out of all these defensive linemen, he was the least productive. He didn't do much of anything. So we've not seen it from him yet. And that's not just looking at the traditional stats and stuff. Like, of course, you guys know that I really chart them and I watch what they're doing and how they're affecting plays and stuff. And he's just he still has a little ways to go, and I think he can, because I saw a similar development from him from his sophomore season to what was a down junior season in high school to what was a blow up senior season. It's like you can tell the guy can just pop on the scene because he did so as a senior in high school. I just going into next year with that guy as a starter, it feels like it's even more worrisome than we were this year, when all summer and all spring all we worried about was how is this defensive line going to even match up anywhere near what Devondre Sweat and Byron Murphy were. So, and it's not even as high a bar to clear, you know. So that's where we are with the interior defensive line. We're not going to even get to the running game kryptonite and what happened to the run game versus Georgia. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about the offensive line grades, how they shook out, how Texas needs to prepare for another Georgia matchup possibly, and also take solace in the fact that no other team's going to be able to take the blueprint that Georgia had and use it against Texas, because Georgia was just so uniquely equipped to do exactly what they did to Texas. It can't be mimicked, especially by a Clemson or especially by an Arizona State. So with that being said, we'll also tomorrow have Cody with his quarterback confidence draft. Cody is ranked the quarterbacks in the college football playoff. So we'll go over those. We'll argue about it. We'll make sure to thank our great friends over at Specs, as we are welcoming nearly 800 of you guys into the Specs chat line. Thanks so much to Specs for being such great sponsors.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs.
Cody, we got a super chat before we get out of here. Did I miss a super chat? It must have been when we had
Did you pop the Oscar one up or not? Was that the Belichick thing?
Maybe.
It might be on me. I might have bad memory if you did or not.
Oscar Elizondo.
This one, did you pop that one?
Of course. We've already had that. We've already had that Bill Belichick discussion. Now you can email us, fwfemails@gmail.com. You can find Cody on X at Cody Carpentier. You can find me at Alex Dunlap NFL. Of course, all of our Longhorn and college football content over at orangebloods.com. All of our NFL draft, fantasy football, just everything else, NFL stuff, DFS, Dynasty, Pick'em. All that stuff over at rosterwatch.com. Can't thank you guys enough for being here. For everybody who's watching here with us live, thank you so much, man. We love you guys. For everybody that watches the show later on, who's going to watch this on Thursday, we hope you have a great Thursday, man. Go out today, wreck the day, dude. Go out, do something big, all right? God bless you guys. God bless your families. For Cody, I'm Alex. We are done.